Hey, You-est You listener, it is Julie Reisler, yours truly. Happy holidays, happy end of the year. I am so grateful and so honored to have spent this 2021 with you. Thank you so much. I am so thankful for your time, your energy, your feedback, listening. It means a lot to me. I know there are many other places to spend your time, and I'm honored. I'm so honored and touched to be here in your ear, to be with you. And I am just hoping and praying that the episodes during 2021, all of the various interviews and solo episodes, that they've really added value and impact and touched your heart. And really, the ultimate goal is to connect with your higher self, with your Youest You, with that authenticity, that authentic part of you that you know, that you connect with. So I'm going to share behind the scenes a little bit what happened and how I decided to choose today's topic for the last episode of 2021 for December. And hopefully this will be timeless, whether you're listening in the time of our holiday season or if it's already in the beginning of the new year. My hope and prayer is that this topic and episode is going to be helpful to you at any time. So I have to say, I was taking notes. Usually I get a strong urge or sense of what I want to talk about, what I want to discuss with you. And I went into today's episode not sure. I had a lot of ideas. I was taking notes. And I decided one of the tools that I've been using to help me connect at a greater level is to use the power of cards. I have my own declaration cards. There are other kinds of oracle cards and other kinds of fantastic different types of cards out there. The ones that I'm using, these are mine, the Youest You declaration cards. I love them because they have different intentions. And I created them originally for myself because I wanted something where I could pick an intention. There are lots of different types of decks of cards out there. And what I find so helpful is it gets me out of my head. It gets me into a place of surrender, of trust. So I'm sharing this because this could be a tool for you. If you have a deck of cards that you like to use, tarot, oracle, or values cards, or intention cards, or my declaration cards. And it's a great way to just surrender and turn over whatever your question is, whatever you're looking for, a decision or greater clarity. It's a great way to tune into higher intelligence. For me, at least, this is one of the things I do. So I'm sharing kind of behind the scenes. This is what just happened. I had taken some notes. I have a lot of different ideas and topics that I do want to cover and will be in 2022. I'm really excited. I already have an amazing lineup. Oh my goodness. I don't want to give it away, but the guests coming in next year are just incredible. And I'm really excited to share them with you. And I had promised myself that I would make sure, actually at the request of many of you writing in, and thank you, to share more about my own experience, hopefully strength, hope. I don't believe in failures, but lessons learned, things that I'm learning along the way in, having a business and being an awake human being, hopefully raising consciousness one day at a time. So I have found that pulling cards has been really, really helpful. And I was not sure of the topic. And I decided, okay, all right, cards. I have 33 cards. I figured I'll start with one and see what happens. So the first card that I chose is purpose. Okay, the declaration is, I was born with sacred gifts, skills, talents, and a purpose. I allow myself to stand firm and share mine with the planet. I affirm that we all have an important purpose. And then my question for you is to really reflect what might be different ways of expressing your purpose. I'm going to talk about purpose because sometimes we get confused about this. And then the next card that I chose, I was like, let me choose one more. It ended up being 3. Side note, I'll give it away. Is abundance. And I was like, oh, I love abundance. And I looked and I saw, I did a whole solo episode about money and abundance, but abundance to me is not just financial. It is opportunities, it's health, it's friendships, it's connections, it's seeing the divine at all. And I love this one. And the declaration is, abundance comes in all forms: love, health, wealth, opportunities, friends, and family. I naturally attract abundance of all kinds. So I was like, okay, purpose and abundance. And then I said, okay, there's one more card. I'm going to choose one more. And the card I chose, very short intention, but the card that I chose is joy. And the declaration is pretty short. It is, I am meant to be joyful, and I create joy for myself. So I was taking some notes and really sitting with, and frankly, for me, it's discernment, it's prayer, it's getting still, it's asking my creator, the divine, please guide me. So before I ever do any episode, just to let you know, because you don't often hear this, although I'm going to start, I think, sharing some of the pre-interview intentions that we do and some of the ways that I ground myself. I think it can be helpful just to hear. And then, of course, my guests. I like to really get still and ask the divine, ask higher power to guide me, to guide this conversation to be at the highest level of the highest service for you. And that whatever I'm saying, let it be impactful and shed more light in your life. That's really my goal. And so I'm looking at these cards and I'm thinking, okay, purpose, abundance, joy. And then it just hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Creator, for this inspiration. So what I want to talk about is, as we wrap up this year, how to reflect on this year, how to really tap into the year, the year ahead that you want to step into, your Youest You. What does that mean? What does that look like? And I really believe these cards totally give us a roadmap. Okay. And I'm so excited because I have a lot to say about purpose and a lot to say about joy and abundance. So as always, I really hope that this is helpful and meaningful. You can always check the show notes. I will definitely be sharing notes afterwards so that if you are driving or walking or unable to take notes, just know that I got you. I got you, sister. I got you, brother. I got you. Okay. So here's what I got. Here's what I realized. This was the download I got after I picked these cards. And it's interesting. I don't know if you know this. My first book that I wrote, if you're watching this, it's right behind me. It's called Get a PhD in You. So I wrote this after 20 years of my own really intensive inner work, dark night of the soul. I share quite a bit of my story in this book. I came to the whole world of personal development through my food addiction, my emotional overeating. I started in a 12-step group. I'm very open about this. And it changed my world. I started to really look at what I was eating over and look at what was really going on. How was I feeling? What was I stuffing down? And that led to an incredible amount of vulnerability and really looking at, what does my heart desire? What am I feeling grief over and shame over? These emotions that I didn't want to look at. And as I started to chip away and to feel, of course, what emerged was a deep healing. When we feel, that's when we're able to heal. And so I really feel like I excavated myself in that process. And through 12 steps and therapy and then eventually coaching, which is really what also was a game changer for me and helped me to even realize that's what I want to get into after doing all of that inner deep work. And by the way, it's not like it's ended. It is for me every day showing up to really ask myself, how can I tap into my purpose, my meest me, right? And I realized that, after so many, thousands of hours of attending meetings and working with other peers and going to sessions and working with coaches and sponsors and just doing a lot of reflecting and journaling, I realized, oh my God, I feel like I have a PhD in myself and I want to share that. So it's really interesting because one of the chapters in my book, it's chapter 11, is literally your purpose and passion. And I talk about the equation to how to tap into your purpose. And I really believe, my friend, that, we are here, each of us, as individuated expressions of the divine, of something greater. And we all have very unique, specific gifts, strengths, talents within each of us. You do, I do, we all do. It's like waiting to be uncovered. And what I've noticed is that whether, maybe like me, it's food for you, maybe it's been alcohol or tapping into, not being present, or social media, or some other form of addiction. I believe we all have some form of staying out of the present moment, which can be addictive behaviors. So I really, what I've seen is when we start to unpack these addictions and these, often traumas, some with a smaller T, some with a larger T, but start to look at what are we feeling and starting to heal and really be with ourselves and start to really excavate, okay, why, what moves you? What are you passionate about? Where do you feel like you want to make an impact? What makes you feel sometimes anger? What bothers you? What angers you? Because that can be fuel. Another area that we often forget to look at is joy. And so it hit me, and I wrote about this in my book, and I was looking at the chapter and I'm like, oh, this is so nuts. I just picked these 3 cards and it's like exactly what I'd written about, and it's my experience. So to get back to the cards and this inspiration, I want to share with you this idea that one of the most powerful ways, the arrow that points to your purpose, often comes through the birth canal of joy. Meaning, what lights you up, what makes you feel alive and joyful. And if you're like me, I'm guessing, we're all living in this world together. There is a lot of focus and pressure on, having these, being busy and achieving and being successful and having long lists that you get through and, making sure that you get everything done. And I can tell you that for me, that's one of my practices, is to make sure that I'm literally stopping myself to pause, reflect, and take time out for joy, for pausing, to be still. However, joy is like this secret elixir. So if you've been asking yourself, what the F is my purpose? And especially as we head into the new year, I know this is a question, and many of you, I know because you've written in, or some of you I'm gratefully getting to work with doing this, or you just, I know at this time of year we tend to look at, okay, so what can I learn from this past year? And one of the things I would recommend you do is reflect. Do a reflection of this year. What did I learn this year? What can I celebrate? What can I acknowledge myself for? How do I want to show up? Who do I want to be in the year 2022? What can I take from 2021 and bring that into the next year? What are aspects of this past year where I felt most alive, most joyful? And one of the ways to tell this is through your energy, through your body. So a way to notice is, where did you feel most energized, most connected? Where did you feel like that vital energy, that life force was just flowing through you? Where have you felt that kind of joy, that kind of flow, that kind of energy? And so a great thing to do, and I do talk about this in my book, but whether you have the book or not, you can do this. As we, come around the corner, around the bend to finish this year, a beautiful way to reflect and to prepare for the year to come is to look at, where have I felt most energized this past year, and where did I feel joyful? So look and see if you have children, or you're an auntie or uncle, or you have grandchildren, or look and see where in that role, where have you felt most alive and joyful? In your career, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you've just started a side hustle. Many of you have trained to be coaches this past year, right? In your coaching work, or in your in your side hustle, or if you're a teacher or an executive or a healer or a guide or a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you have a side gig, where you are helping people with their nutrition and their health. Whatever it is you're doing, look and see, where did you feel most alive and lit up and joyful? That is going to really give you some powerful information. And then look at your relationships. Who are the people that bring you joy, that make you feel connected and alive and grateful and vital and empowered? So look at those relationships. And, I was reading one of my new favorite books. Oh my gosh, so good. Believe It by Jamie Kern-Lim. I love her. She is the founder of It Cosmetics, which was bought by L'Oreal. She's just a beautiful soul. And she shares a suggestion that she heard from somebody, one of her mentors, that we get to choose who we allow to have the mic, right? That who we're listening to. So if it's somebody who brings you a lot of joy and good energy, turn up that mic. You get to turn up that mic and listen to them and hear and be inspired by their words. And if it's somebody, and oftentimes we don't, always get to choose our family. Hopefully there are people that you feel very, connected to and aligned with. But sometimes we have family members that just might be in a different journey and not as aligned. You get to decide if you're going to turn down the mic on those people, or people that you feel less connected to, or maybe that don't have the most positive energy. We get to decide. You get to decide who you're gonna give the mic to, and who you're gonna allow to turn up the mic and to turn it down. So one great way to decide who you're gonna allow to turn up the mic around are people that bring you joy, that help you to feel more empowered and vitality. So the other place to look at is in your spiritual connection, your connection to something greater, to your higher self, your Youest You. So maybe, that joy comes for you in walking in nature, being outside and gardening and planting. Maybe it's in retreats. Maybe it's in retreating by yourself, right? So really, it is so powerful, and it's so worth it. And you're worth it to take the time to do a little inventory of this past year. Where did you feel joy? Where did you feel alive? Where did you feel most empowered? Because that joy, that feeling of vitality, of energy, of alignment, of passion, even anger and frustration can be fuel as well. But we're talking about that energy of joy right now. Looking and seeing where you have felt that, and use your body. Notice when you feel, what does that feel like to you? Maybe you feel like you want to dance, you want to jump up, you want to, high five yourself. If you listen to the episode with Mel Robbins, the High Five Habit book is phenomenal. It was one of my favorite episodes. She is just such a beautiful luminary, and we talked about the power of high-fiving yourself. So if you feel like that connection to wanting to high-five yourself, maybe your body is saying like, yes, you're leaning in, listen to your intuition, your inner wisdom. Just do a year reflection. Go through the different months, look through your calendar, look at those events and those transformative moments, or maybe those subtle moments. Maybe for you, joy really comes when you wake up and you give yourself time and space and grace to just daydream, or to lay in bed, or to put your hand on your heart. Maybe it's just a very quiet moment with your partner or your pet. It doesn't have to be the grandiose, huge moments. I just encourage you to do a reflection and an inventory, and to look and see, where have you felt joy? What does that feel like? What does that look like? How do you feel that in your body? And get clear and do some writing if that works for you, or you could share with a trusted friend or a coach or an advisor. And look and see, because joy, this is so awesome. I love the inspiration of these cards. Joy is like the arrow that points to purpose. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you if you're watching. Purpose. Now, purpose, to me, when I think about purpose, I think about my why. I think about your why. Why? So, great question to ask yourself. Let's say you really feel strongly that you want to help women to feel more uplifted and trusting of themselves and worthy. I know that's part of my why as well. So you're going to ask yourself, why is that important to me? Why? Write it down. And then you might follow up with, is there anything else? Why else? So sometimes those prompts of asking why a few times can be very, very helpful. It can help unleash thoughts that we haven't yet really brought to the surface. It can help bring up ideas or even creative thoughts that you may have not looked at yet. So you want to ask yourself, why, right? And joy, what you're joyful about, can often lead to your why. So for me, for an example, I was talking about my book. I had a lot of doubt in writing that book. I'd never written a book. I'm actually going to be coming out in February with the revised edition. I'm really excited about it. And I'm also working on my next book. And there's still a voice that's like, who do you think you are? Which is ironic, because the name of my next book is Who Does She Think She Is? Right? I'm guessing if you have your heart's beating, you're breathing, you're listening, you probably at some point had that voice go through. A little bit of imposter syndrome, self-doubt. Okay, first of all, you are not alone. I am with you. Hopefully, as you've been listening to episodes with best-selling authors, you've heard from other incredibly well-known experts that they've experienced that. So that can come up, that imposter syndrome, that doubt, right? What has always helped me to really bridge over that fear, that doubt, those thoughts that just like creep up. You could make a name for it, but like that inner critic, whatever you want to call it, what's helped me bridge over that is to get to my why, is to get to what I know is true in my heart. And so I'm going to encourage you to really connect with your why, to connect with your why. What is it about your why that feels so important to you? And so that is a fantastic area to look into to get to your purpose, right? Is to reflect on your year, what brought you joy and vitality, to start noticing the themes, and then really ask yourself, why is that important to you? And look and see, maybe you're already in a career or a field or a job that feels really purposeful. To reconnect to your heart and that place of purpose, ask yourself, why? And if you want to take it a step further, write it down, put it in your phone, put it in your calendar, record yourself saying it, and listen every single morning or every single night or both. And then find somebody, an action partner, a friend, where you can stay connected, you can listen to their why, and you can share yours. That why, and it might be related to parenting. It might be related to your health. In fact, you're probably going to have a why and a purpose that is connected to your health, to your perhaps spirituality, to your career, to your personal life, friendships, your parenting, whatever that might be. Actually, in my book in the back, there is a well-being wheel that helps you really connect to all of these different aspects of your life and your why. All right, so moving on to the third card, because what I want to share is this, to me, is really a powerful equation. It is go to joy first, connect to that energy, align with your heart, align with that part of you, that childlike part of you that we all have that is at the highest vibration of joy, of happiness, of connection to really something beyond you. Joy is so overrated and it's so important. It is so healthy and healing. I'm sorry, joy is underrated. It is not overrated. I said that, I'm like, no, that's not right. Joy is underrated, and we want to make sure we're connecting to our joy. That can lead to purpose. And when you are connected to your why, that authentic, deep yearning and desire to make an impact or a difference, to be of service, my friend, that is where abundance shows up. It is so beautiful how this all aligns. Abundance is really having that, I think of it as a buffet table, just beautiful amounts of, and I believe in the divine, it's infinite. So all these possibilities and opportunities, maybe by connecting to joy and then your why and your purpose, that helps you to connect to an abundance of new friends or connections. Maybe it is financially. I've seen this over and over again. I really have. When I go into what brings me joy, one of those things is coaching, for example. I love coaching. I love teaching coaching, anything with coaching, because it changed my life, and I believe that it's a game changer. When I put that into practice and I get to my why and I get into my purpose, so for example, leading my Life Designer Coach Academy brings me a lot of joy. What has happened is I've noticed we've started to attract students from all over the world. It's become really an abundant place to learn how to be a coach. It's become abundant for me opportunity-wise, meeting new amazing people, getting to spread my light and helping others to spread their light. And financially, and so this is how I believe the universe works. It's always going to be matching your energy. It's always going to be reflecting. The outer world reflects your inner world. It's so important, therefore, to really connect to that high vibrational state of joy, of love, of heart. And that's why when I saw these cards, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really like the equation. And I really believe it's in this order. Connect to your joy. And if you're having a hard time with joy, a great place to go, it's like the sister, is to go to gratitude. Because often when you go to gratitude, it can help you bridge to joy. So go into gratitude if you're having trouble. Joy might also be, another word for joy is heightened positive energy. Heightened positive energy. So look and see what has brought you heightened positive energy. One of the ones I know for me and for one of my clients has been markers, drawing, adding color, doodling. Seriously, it's brought so much joy. Another client that I worked with recently, she loves to have dance parties. Another amazing client, you know who you are, is renting, and she's going to be getting her own amazing RV and going into the forest. She has massive joy being alone in the forest with her dog. She feels peaceful and connected, and she loves to be in the forest. In fact, what happened for her is a whole beautiful idea came through that has connected to her why, which has to do with being in nature, and she has an abundance of opportunities. So, and I've seen this over and over and over again, over and over again. So my invitation to you, You-est You, dear listener, soul seeker, I feel like we're friends. I know even if we haven't met yet, I always think of you as I know we're soul family. So I hope you know, I really, even though I can't see you, I can feel you. I really hope this helps you. Rather than just trying to go to purpose or abundance first, go through joy. Go through joy, what brings you energy, vitality, empowerment. Do a reflection. Look at this past year. Where have you felt that positive energy? Notice if there are any themes. Look at the various areas of your life, right? Spirituality, personal health, well-being, career, family. If you're a parent, all of those areas. Maybe it's also giving back, being of service as well. Then look to see how that informs your why, which can lead to your purpose. And purpose doesn't have to mean one thing. First of all, if you're listening, you're probably, like me, empath, highly sensitive, multi-passionate. You're going to have many ways that you show up and have meaning, make meaning in the world and add value and purpose. So it might be, it might be one main thing. It might be in many different ways. For you, it might be to be a loving, compassionate teacher and role model for your children. That's part of your purpose. I know that's for me. Another might be to empower others to be their healthiest self through nutrition, through meditation. Maybe it's through your corporate job in HR and helping people to feel included and making sure the pay scale is the same, whether you're female or male or black or white, right? Your purpose is going to vary, and it can also be multifaceted. What I do know, though, is when you follow joy and positive energy in yourself and your why and purpose, what is going to follow is abundance. And that is my prayer and my hope and my blessing for each of you, for you this year and the year to come, is that you are graced with a deep, deep joy, deep connection to your heart, to your purpose, and that you get to experience abundance of all kinds. Health, opportunities, well-being, financial wealth, friendships, connections, love, spiritual resilience, abundance of all kinds. My dear friend, I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know your feedback, the abundance that you're noticing, your purpose, what brings you joy. I would love to hear all of it. You can share at the You-est You community for soul seekers, our Facebook group. It's free. And I just want to wish you your most blessed year yet, full of incredible health and well-being and abundance. And may you continue to listen, honor, and love your You-est You. With love from my meest me to you. Mwah. Love you.